Hey everyone, it's Coach Justin here, and today I wanted to jump on and make a quick video speaking about discipline. And anyone who's been following personal development, success, motivation for any period of time will know that discipline is a core principle to creating the life that you want to create. And 99.9% of coaches, or any coach really worth their salt, will be coaching and talking about discipline. And it's actually funny because one of the most common questions, whenever I upload a video or a topic around discipline, the most common response that I actually get is, yeah, but how disciplined do I actually need to be? Right? Or, I'm not a robot. And it's actually a very interesting question, or it's actually a very interesting response, because a lot of people do find it very difficult to be disciplined, and they can only really maintain it for 5 days, 10 days, 15 days. So it's a question that very much comes up all the time. And the answer is actually very nuanced and actually has a lot of layers to it. So I thought I'd make a quick video taking you through the steps of how important discipline really is, and my answer to, do I really need to be that disciplined? Is it that bad if I take 1 day off, or 2 days off, or 1 day every 2 weeks? And there's going to be one thing in particular that I speak about in this video that is literally worth, my clients literally pay me thousands of dollars to understand this concept. And I'm going to talk about it more towards the end of the video. So if you are interested in creating the life that you want to create, the life of your dreams, if you are interested in growth, if you are interested in success, creating success, make sure you stay to the end. And when I share this one principle, because it is very, very important, understanding just this one simple thing will literally make it 1,000 times easier to build discipline and to maintain discipline. So when I'm asked, is it a big deal if I take a day off, right? Yeah, I'm mostly disciplined, but I'm disciplined 4 days out of the week out of 7, or, 11 days out of 12 days. Is it really that big of a deal? And the real answer to that, before we go any deeper, is it's up to you. If you're watching this and you're an adult, and I say this to my clients, if you have a brain and you're able to think for yourself, you can make a decision for yourself. You can actually create your own life's philosophy. Okay? So, I always say, as a coach, it is not my job to teach people what to think. It's to teach people how to think. And I always hand my clients a set of principles, right, that I've used to create the life that I want to create, to earn money, to create time freedom, to create financial freedom, to be able to spend time with my partner and my daughter, to have multiple sources of income. So I'm just teaching the principles that I know have worked significantly for me and have worked for literally thousands of my clients. But to begin with, you have to ask yourself, what is my life philosophy, right? How much am I willing to sacrifice? How much am I willing to get uncomfortable, right? How much do I really want to step out of my comfort zone? And we have to understand that whatever decision we make, we have to live with that decision. Something really powerful that I read probably about 7 or 8 years ago is, we will have to live with the pain of discipline in the moment, or the pain of regret in the future. And that really resonated with me, because the truth is, both ways are hard, right? Change is hard, right? Make no mistake about it. Change fucking sucks, right? Change is very, very uncomfortable. You're doing things that you've never done before, right? You're going after goals. When you go after a goal, is what you're actually doing is, you're giving yourself an opportunity to tap into the best version of yourself. You're not always going to meet that version. Sometimes you're going to significantly shrink in the moment and tap into the worst version of yourself, and that fucking sucks. You have to pick yourself back up. You have to pull yourself up by the bootstraps, and you have to go again. You have to try, fail, pick yourself up, try again, fail, pick yourself up. So growth fucking sucks. But waking up in a year's time or 2 years' time also fucking sucks, right? I wake up at 2:30 a.m. every single morning, and this isn't the video to explain why I do that, but that at times fucking sucks. But not living my dream life, not tapping into my fullest potential, not growing my coaching business and helping people all over the world would also fucking suck. Going to the gym, there are obviously days where I absolutely love it, but going to the gym, there are days where it absolutely sucks. It's hard. You're low on energy. You can't be fucked. Your paradigm is pulling you back. Your old conditioning is pulling you back. You're sore, but being unhealthy, being overweight, carrying 5, 10, or 15 pounds also is hard and also sucks. So, we get to set our own personal standard. But we also have to understand that the personal standard that we set today is what we will live with in a week's time, a month's time, 6 months' time, a year's time, And I was asked a really interesting question by a client not too long ago on one of my group Q&As for my 6-month masterclass. And they said, what motivates you, And I said, I have this innate awareness that I'm going to die one day, right? I'm going to be old one day, And I always think to myself, I don't want to wake up when I'm 85 or 90 years old and I'm kind of like tired and I'm frail. And I just think to myself, and I look back and I think to myself, wow, I should have done this in my 30s. I should have done this in my 20s. I should have taken that risk. I should have bet on myself. I should have sacrificed a little bit of sleep. I should have sacrificed a little bit of comfort to then create the life that I want to create, So before we go any further, you've got to understand you set your own personal standard, right? Then the next layer to that is if you show me your habits, I'll show you your future, whether it be finances, whether it be relationships, whether it be your physical body, weight. Anyone who's been following me for a little bit of time will know that I always talk about weight. And the reason why I talk about weight is because it's very physical. People can really see it. It's very measurable and tangible. So if you had someone, for example, who was 300 pounds and their ideal weight was 200 pounds, so they're 100 pounds overweight, and this person was told, all you need to do is, eat following this meal plan, walk 10,000 steps a day, do 30 minutes of exercise, and spend time recovering. They were given 4 steps to do every single day. The discipline, consistency, and persistence in which they execute those 4 disciplines, their habits today will dictate how much weight they lose. And the truth is, you do have to be more disciplined in the beginning part of your journey, because when you're in the beginning part of your journey, you're building so much momentum, right? You're fighting up against your old conditioning, you're fighting up against your old habits, and just having one day off can really pull you back. And that's what a lot of people are doing. A lot of people are going 2 steps forward, 2 steps back, 3 steps forward, 3 steps back, and they're never actually able to break that cycle of their habits, right? So let's really understand how to build discipline and how to really create effortless results. Because you can create effortless results, but you've got to earn effortless. So we have 2 parts to our mind, and I want you to pay really close attention because this is very, very, very important. We have 2 parts to our mind. We have our conscious mind and we have our subconscious mind. Our conscious mind controls 2 to 4% of our results, perceptions, and behaviors. Our subconscious mind controls 96 to 98%, okay, of our results, perceptions, and behaviors. So with anything that we want, we've got to go to the subconscious mind. We've got to rewire the subconscious mind. Our conscious mind is our thinking mind, it's our intellectual mind. It's where all the information goes. Right now, this content is going from my conscious mind to your conscious mind. The subconscious mind is the emotional mind. It's where our paradigms, habits, and self-image are fixed, okay? Now, let's say, for example, someone is in the habit of sleeping in, okay? They're always, one day they're waking up at 7 a.m. and then the next day they're waking up at 9 a.m. and they knew inherently All I need to do is form the habit of waking up at 6 a.m. every single day, and it's going to be a habit that will completely change my life. It's going to allow me to not be so mentally rushed. Now, we have to understand that this person sleeping in, it's not a coincidence. It is a reflection of the image that they hold of themselves in their subconscious mind. It's a reflection of their thermostat. So maybe is what they'd do is they'd take a pen and a paper and they would write out in the present tense how they would like to see the situation. I'm so happy and grateful now that I wake up at 6 a.m. every morning full of energy and full of life. The first thing that happens when I wake up, when I open my eyes, I think to myself, today's going to be a great day. I have so much energy every day in every way my life keeps getting better. That's an example of an affirmation. Now, I always tell my clients, you want to discipline your mind. So that's doing the mental work, the emotional work, and you want to create winning behaviors, right? You've actually got to go and fucking implement it. If you're just singing affirmations in the mirror, it's not going to work. So that affirmation, I'm so happy and grateful that I wake up at 6 a.m. Every morning full of energy and full of life. That's the discipline your mind part. That's what you're affirming to yourself. You might say it 20 times before bed. You might force yourself to say it the first thing in the morning. That's printing the image of how you would like to see yourself into your subconscious mind, okay? But then you've got to actually get up. You can't affirm your way to creating results, okay? So, let's say, for example, someone wants to create this habit of waking up at 6 a.m. every single morning. Actually, let's go back a step. Let's use the example of someone who is looking at it from the perspective of, do I really have to be that disciplined, okay? Well, as what that person will do is they'll set their alarm for 6 a.m. today. They'll wake up at 6 a.m. Then tomorrow, 6 a.m. Then the next day, 6 a.m. And let's say this person maintains that habit every day for 8 days or 9 days, okay? Then as what happens is when the new idea that you've written down is starting to take root in the subconscious mind, your old conditioning, your old habit does not want to go anywhere. You've got to understand that, right? Even if you've created a really high level of success, where you're conditioned at that success is where your thermostat is conditioned. So your old paradigm, your old habit, your old thermostat, it's all the same, it's all different verbiage for really you're talking about the same thing. It's the conditioning, does not want to go anywhere. So let's say on day 9, this person, they wake up, they're heavy-eyed, then they just go back into bed. They say, well, I've been really good for 9 days. That's the definition of 3 steps forward, 3 steps back. When you sleep in that one day, even though you think, oh, it's only one day, you're feeding your old conditioning. If you're 30 years old, you have 30 years of conditioning. If you're watching this and you're 50 years old, you have 50 years of conditioning. So you've got to assume that your old conditioning is 100,000 times stronger than the new conditioning that you're trying to create, okay? So that would assume, and every action that we take, every thought that we think is rather feeding the old us or the new us. So when you get involved with your old behaviors, that's auto-suggestion. You're using auto-suggestion against you instead of for you. You're feeding into that old paradigm. So that one day where that person sleeps in and they say, well, I'm not a robot. I'm only human. They start rationalizing with themselves, right? They say, well, I'm not a robot. I'm only human. I've been good for 11 days. I'm just going to sleep in this one day. They just breathe a fucking shitload of life into what they don't want. They just breathe life into their old them and they have to start again. And this person will constantly go 10 days on, 2 days off. 16 days on, 2 days off. And they say, well, it's not getting any easier, right? Now, I want you to pay really, really close attention to this. If you just put the bit between the teeth, if you just said to yourself, I am fucking doing this no matter what. I'm going to do hard better. I'm going to earn effortless. I know that if I do something for a sustained period of time, it might be 30 days, it might be 45 days, it might be 60 days. Listen to this, this is very important. It then becomes harder not to do than to do. So that habit, that one thing where you're always giving yourself that little out, and then you're messaging me on Instagram saying, well, I'm not a robot, you know, well, surely I'm allowed to take 1 day off here and 1 day off there. On the other side of when it gets really difficult is your freedom. So whenever I'm trying to set a new habit, let's say for example, when I was setting the habit of waking up at 2:30 in the morning, I wrote out the affirmation and I said to myself, come hell or high water, I would rather cut my fucking right foot off than to sleep in. Even if I'm tired, even if I have low energy, even if there's one day where I feel like there's only one eye open and one eye closed, even if the first 45 minutes to an hour of my day suck because I really don't have that energy because I'm tired, I am doing this no matter what. I'm going to feel the pain of discipline in the moment, or I'm going to feel the pain of regret in the future. I get to pick my pain. And I don't mind picking the pain of discipline in the moment because I made a commitment to myself 10 years ago that I was going to tap into the best version of myself, however that looks, right? So we go back to this example. This person who says, okay, I am waking up at X time, and you could do this with any habit. I'm using waking up on time. You could do this with calling on 100 people. You might be in sales, you might be in solar or real estate, and you might be watching this, and you say to yourself, okay, absolutely no matter what, I'm making a commitment to myself. I'm calling on 100 prospects every single day, Monday to Friday. You might take Saturday or Sunday off. And I'm not leaving my office until I make 100 calls. You make that personal promise to yourself. If you actually kept that promise to yourself, day after day after day, and then even on that day, let's say it's day 6 or day 9 or day 12, it hits us all differently, where you just cannot be fucked doing it. It feels like the phone is 150 pounds. It feels like you're wearing a lead vest. You can't even move. You feel that stuck. You say to yourself, I'm going to earn effortless. I'm going to do hard better. I'm going to do it for a sustained period of time. And then after just a sustained period of time, it might be 30 days, it might be 45 days, it might be 50 days. On day 51, it's automatized. That's the great secret to success. When I hear people say to me, well, show me how to earn $20,000 a month effortlessly. People love that word, easily, right? Okay, they're great words. You can earn effortless. You can earn easy. There are habits that I have in my daily disciplines now that if you told me I had those habits 10 years ago, I would have absolutely laughed in your face. But they're automatized. They're harder not to do than to do. So you can get to a point where it's harder for you to not make 100 calls than it is to make 100 calls. You can get to a point where it's harder for you to sleep in than it is to wake up on time. I really want you to hear this. But you can never get to that point if you're, well, do I have to be that disciplined? Justin, I did it 11 out of 12 days. Justin, in a 20-day period, I did it 18 out of the 20 days. I just took a couple of days off. You've got to earn the habit, right? This is really, really important. And I'm going to say it again. I know I'm repeating myself, but it's so important. Once you create it into a habit, it becomes harder not to do than to do. So think about when you try to set yourself up to execute a habit, and you do it really great for 15 days, and then on day 16 it's chaos where you just can't do it and you give in to the old conditioning. It could get to a point where that chaos ensues, that chaos comes upon you if you don't do it. It can be easier to earn money than to not earn money. It can be easier to win than to lose. You just need to earn it. Okay? And that takes me into one of my last points of the universe rewards a conditioned mind. The universe does not respond to what you want. It responds to who you are. It responds to your conditioning. So once you turn that idea over to your subconscious mind, once you plant that idea into your subconscious mind, you resonate with everything on that frequency. And discipline, make no mistake about it, is the highest form of self-respect. If you want real confidence, you build discipline. If you want a fucking self-worth that is bulletproof, that no one can take away from you, you build discipline. That is the root cause of confidence. You know, you can scream affirmations in the mirror until you're blue in the face. You could tell yourself that you're confident. You could tell yourself that you're a badass. Discipline is the raison d'etre of self-love. So thank you very much for listening.